All right.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Well, clearly I don't because I'm an elected member of Congress. So keep it pushing, bro.
I'm Trace Gallagher. We have breaking news regarding the murder of a 22-year-old nursing student from the University of Georgia. The body of Laken Riley was found late yesterday after she did not come home from a run. Police found her body in a wooded area near the UGA campus in Athens. They say she did have visible injuries. And now a 26-year-old man is in custody. Jose Antonio Ibarra was arrested on murder charges a short time ago, and we are learning Ibarra is not a U.S. citizen and that he might be from Venezuela. Remember, President Biden offered 500,000 Venezuelan migrants legal status and work permits, and there is a major concern across the country about many of those migrants belonging to dangerous Venezuelan gangs. If this suspect turns out to be a Venezuelan criminal, the crisis at the southern border is about to take on an entirely new dimension. Fox News at Night with in-depth coverage, 11 o'clock in the East, 8 o'clock in the West. Now back to Hen.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about the reality-denying Democrat Party, who, in my opinion, wants to destroy this country, or that's the way it seems, okay, because their policies are leading to the destruction of this country. And one of the ways that the country is being destroyed is from within, because we currently have a full-blown invasion at our southern border. I've talked to you guys about this before, how our enemies, foreign countries, do not need to launch a traditional war against the United States anymore in order to take us down. All they have to do is send all the people they don't want in their countries to the United States border and to have them take advantage of the soft on border policies from the Democrats and progressives like AOC to have them come into the country, and then they can wreak havoc from within, okay? And it's not just countries like China, Russia, some of these Middle Eastern countries where you see people from all over the globe trying to come in through the southern border. Obviously, we have those people that are from South America as well, too. Some of these South American countries that are letting their criminals out of prisons and sending them to the United States to invade our country. That is what's happening, okay? The Biden administration, they have no clue who they're letting into the country, and inevitably, bad things are going to happen. And that's what we have to talk about here today with a very, very, very tragic story that people like AOC claims that, hey, you know, the border crisis is a hoax, okay? Stuff like this is not bound to happen by having an open border and just taking in everybody and not really vetting them. No. You don't understand. That's just fear-mongering from Republicans, which is essentially what AOC went on air on MSDNC and stated about the current border crisis. And I want to talk about that, but before we get into it, we have to have a word from the sponsor of this video, Virtual Shield. It has been revealed that thousands of websites share your personal information with social media giants. Most of us know that our every move is being tracked online when we search the web. It is no longer a surprise when we get an ad for a product that we search for online. But what is the extent of this invasion of privacy? A recent report reveals an average of 2,230 companies will send your data to the most popular social media website. This is why myself and tens of thousands of others are starting to protect ourselves and our personal data from this mass invasion of privacy with Virtual Shield. Virtual Shield is the industry-leading VPN offering military-grade protection, a strict no-log policy, and built-in ID monitoring that comes with a massive $1 million identity theft insurance policy. Turning Virtual Shield on only takes 2 clicks, and it instantly helps protect your data from the prying eyes of corporations, ISPs, hackers, mobile carriers, tech giants, and more. You can experience the incredible protection of Virtual Shield with an exclusive 60-day risk-free trial. During this 60-day free trial, you will be able to enjoy unlimited bandwidth, anonymous browsing, and fast internet speeds across all devices. Don't put your privacy at risk by not using Virtual Shield. Get it now by signing up for free at virtualshield.com/BCP. That is virtualshield.com/BCP. Try it now. You have nothing to lose.
The idea that Republicans, in order to win an election, say we need to hermetically seal the border when they know that that is economic self-sabotage to the U.S. economy. And they are saying, let's do it anyway. And to compensate for the negative effects, we're going to allow and throw people's kids into factories. That is what they are doing in rolling back child labor laws while being as xenophobic and anti-immigrant as they are, and while ginning up this false narrative about this being a crisis. And by the way, by then also preventing and blocking any legislation that would provide not just a path to citizenship, but a path to work papers, a path to allowing people who want to work to be paired with American businesses who need people to work. And I mean, there is not only no moral calculation, there is no economic calculation, there is no logical calculation, there is only a political calculation. And that political calculation is we are going to keep whining about it. Mm-hmm. We are going to keep pretending this is a crisis while contributing to actual problems. And then we're going to block the solution so that we can campaign on it over and over and over. And we can call it caravans, we can call it migrant crises, we can call it family separation, and they will just recycle it over and over and over again in order to gin up, just so much animosity and destruction in this country and racism in this country, because that's the only thing that the Republican Party even is standing on at this point.
Yeah, so you've seen that, you heard that, okay? AOC unhinged, okay? Everybody she disagrees with, racist, xenophobic, bigoted, okay? These are all the words she's throwing out there to describe people who simply want to close the border and who don't want to deal with the negative externalities of illegal immigration, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, that AOC doesn't want to address. But her argument is essentially that Republicans want economic self-sabotage by closing the border, right? Basically what she's saying is that our economy would tank if we did not let illegal immigrants into the country, which I do not believe whatsoever, right? I do not believe that, okay? I do not buy into this argument that illegal immigrants are a net positive for the U.S. economy. I just don't buy into it, especially today, because we've let more illegal immigrants into this country than ever before. We're talking about millions and millions and millions of illegals. At what point is enough, right? At what point is enough to say, hey, you know what, we're going to reap the economic benefits of the millions of illegals that we've allowed into this country. But now we need to shut it off, right? We definitely need to shut off the faucet, okay? I just don't buy into this argument. I think personally at the end of the day, we can find people to work the jobs that I guess the American people don't want to work, right? That's the argument, that illegals work those jobs. We can find people, right? You know how we find people? We stop paying people not to work. We don't make it so people can live off the government when there are jobs available that they can work. Okay, I personally believe that's the way that you get people to work these jobs that they don't want to work, that illegals are willing to work. Also, on top of that, there's nothing wrong with rolling back child labor laws, which is what they're doing in Florida to make it easier for 16 and 17-year-olds to work. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I started working almost immediately when I turned 16 years old, and that made me a better person, okay? It made me a more productive American. That was a good thing. Okay, so yeah, it's nothing wrong with kids working these jobs that are of lower wages so that they can understand how to actually show up to work on time. They gain basic skills and they understand what it's like to pay taxes and be in the workforce. There's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. So me personally, there's definitely ways to get people to work these jobs. You don't need illegals to work these jobs. There's definitely ways to do it, right? If we roll back on regulations and if we stop paying people not to work, then they'll work, okay? Because we definitely need to put Americans to work, okay? I would much rather have Americans do these jobs than to import illegal immigrants and to have them do the jobs, right? And I'm just saying, at some point, we got to say enough is enough. We've taken in more illegals than we've ever taken before. So, if there's not enough now to fill these jobs, right, then there'll never be enough, okay? And for AOC, there's never enough, okay? And she blames Republicans for not having real solutions to the border crisis when Democrats are the ones that don't have a real solution. Chuck Schumer is the one that's holding up the Republican Secure the Border Act in the Senate. He's the one refusing to bring that legislation to the floor to vote on. He's the one that's actively overthrowing democracy in the Senate, right? Because we know that AOC and the Democrat solution is not going to secure the border. It's only going to make the problem worse. They're going to allow more illegals into the country. And the more illegals that you allow into the country, the more criminals and gangs that you allow into the country. And then you inevitably get stories like this, where you have a young Georgia nursing student, a young woman, 22 years old, who got murdered by an illegal immigrant that illegally crossed into the country, into El Paso, Texas in September of 2022 under the Biden administration. And now she lost her life because of the soft on border policies that are supported by the Biden administration and AOC.
We do have a lot to get to here for your Friday night. Thanks for being with us. I'm Wendy Corona.
And I'm George Estevez. Let's get right to the latest on this breaking news. The man police say murdered, Laken Riley, could be booked into the Clark County Jail at any minute. They arrested Jose Ibarra tonight and tell us he didn't know Riley and that it was just a crime of opportunity.
Today, we learned the name of that victim. We know she is Laken Riley. She's a Cherokee County native who her old school superintendent called a shining light.
Classes at UGA will resume on Monday. They were canceled today and this weekend. Riley sorority is hosting a vigil for her Monday afternoon.
We do have live Team 2 coverage tonight from Athens, starting with Channel 2's Courtney Francisco. Courtney, you're standing by where investigators have been searching that suspect's apartment for hours now.
Yes, Wendy, and police say Jose Ibarra lived in the first floor of this apartment building that you see right here where police are standing guard. This complex still crawling with investigators at this hour. This is where police arrested Ibarra this afternoon. And just hours ago, we learned what led them here, why they think he's the killer, and how they think he did it.
Past dark, police pulled evidence from Jose Ibarra's apartment.
I think it's really opened our eyes.
University of Georgia students showed up at a press conference Friday night to hear the latest themselves. And they learned lead investigators believe Ibarra randomly chose to kill Laken Riley.
He did not know her at all. I think this was a crime of opportunity.
She was 22, a nursing student. He is 26, from Venezuela.
He did not attend school at the University of Georgia. This was an individual who woke up with bad intentions on that day. This was just a crime of opportunity, no motive.
UGA Police Chief Jeff Clark says his team started investigating the crime just after 12 noon Thursday, after Riley's friend reported her missing, said she left for a jog around UGA's intramural fields and never came back. 30 minutes later, police say an officer found her in the woods, beaten unconscious. Efforts to revive her did not work. Fast forward 24 hours Friday, federal, state, and city investigators were searching a unit at this apartment complex less than 2 miles from the crime scene on UGA's campus. That's where they found Ibarra.
The evidence suggests that this was a solo act. We took 3 or 4 people in custody. However, we're only going to arrest 1.
Police say campus security cameras helped confirm he was the killer.
I think we definitely need to be more aware, like walking together.
Students did leave together after hearing the update, saying they're changed forever.
Just like a wave of sadness, and I for sure think everyone's going to be more cautious.
Ibarra faces several charges, including murder, kidnapping, hindering a 911 call, and concealing the death of another. Reporting live in Athens, Courtney Francisco, WSB Tonight.
It's quite something, too, seeing all the students there, Courtney, now just using that buddy system even more, looking out.
Yeah, so what you guys understand, Athens, Georgia, where UGA is located, is a sanctuary city. This guy is here because of Biden administration policies, soft on border policies that allow illegal immigrants to not only cross the border easily, but to stay in the country easily. The result of which was what you just saw, right? The story that you just saw, in which the local news media refused to state the obvious, which is that this person is here illegally. In fact, let's show his face so you can recognize these types of people, right? This guy is an illegal immigrant here from Venezuela. Now, how many of these single military age men have we let into this country? A ton of guys that look just like this. What has been the result? We've already seen crime, chaos, destruction, murders as a result of Biden's open border policies, AOC's open border policies. Now, I told you guys that there was this Venezuelan woman that slid in my DM, so to speak, on Instagram, and she told me straight up, she warned me about this. She said that the people that the United States, that Biden are allowing into this country from Venezuela are gang members, and they've left Venezuela. They've left Venezuela and they've went to countries like the United States and Chile to operate. They're operating here in the United States, and you're going to see more stories like this because of the soft on crime, soft on border policies of Democrats in the Biden administration. She warned me about this. And now we're saying it. We're saying these gangs starting to operate specifically in these liberal cities like New York. Okay, you're seeing these types of crimes. You're seeing all types of crazy stuff start to happen as a result of mass illegal immigration. We let a bunch of people into this country and we have no clue who they are. They haven't been vetted whatsoever. We just let them in because, hey, we're supposed to just let everybody in, right? According to AOC, everybody should just come in, right? Open borders. And the result of that is what you're seeing right now. If you think it's bad now, just wait 2 to 3 years. Hopefully Trump is in office and we have mass deportations. This is why we need mass deportations, right? You know, if Republicans deserve to be criticized on this, they definitely deserve to be criticized for not going far enough, right? Stories like this is exactly why we need mass deportations, okay? Because none of these people are vetted. So they need to be deported, sent back to where they came from. And yeah, we need to just close the border, right? And say, you know what? We can't take anybody at this point. We can't. We're sorry. Because a lot of these people are not here seeking asylum. This is not an asylum seeker, okay? This guy is just a criminal. That's what he was. But again, if you listen to Democrats, they tell everybody coming to the border is seeking asylum. And if you don't let them in, you're a bigot. You must hate them. Well, that's just simply not the case. We're trying to be smart. We're trying to save lives. We're trying to make sure that the people that are coming to this country are vetted. But that's not what people like AOC and the Biden administration are trying to do. And Americans have to suffer the consequences. This is what it looks like to have your country be invaded. This is what it looks like. These are the type of stories you're going to start to get a lot more of. And then Democrats will turn around and point the finger at Republicans. When Republicans actually passed the bill in the House to secure the border. Democrats don't want to secure the border. They're totally fine with having more of this. It don't really affect them like that. Their constituents, but not them. And ultimately, at the end of the day, they're trying to allow people like this to vote. They want people like this to vote. They want them to be police officers. They want them to run our elections. This is what they want. And this is why I say Democrats, at least from a policy perspective, it seems as if they definitely want the destruction of this country. Because that is the only explanation I can come to where you have a party that allows this type of stuff. Bad policies that are clearly bad for the country. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.